My loving audience take my love and subscribes my channel. And dive B&B stories. So, did you guys catch that celebration after the Logan Designs launch? Bill Spencer was practically vibrating with energy. He showed up with both of his sons and Shauna, and they were all just yelping about how perfectly the show went. Bill looks at Hope and tells her she should be incredibly proud. But I have to ask you, is she really? Can she actually be proud when she knows she just blew up her entire family for a few minutes on a runway? The funny thing is, Hope doesn't even want all the spotlight for herself. She's busy giving all the credit to Deke. And then Bill jumps in to say Shauna's jewelry line was just magnificent. It felt like a victory lap, but something about it felt a little too loud, don't you think? Like they were trying to drown out the sound of Brooke Logan's heart breaking across town. Well, think about it from Hope's perspective for a second. She just pulled off the biggest surprise in fashion history. She's standing there with her new team, and they're all telling her she's a genius. But the sources tell us that once that high wears off, reality starts to sink in pretty fast. She didn't just move to a new company. She blindsided everyone at Forrester who was counting on her. People like Zend, who were supposed to start production on her old line the very next day. Now Zend is just standing there fuming, and Eric is telling him the show is over. Hope kept them all in the dark. Do you think that's a move a woman of integrity makes? Or was she just so desperate to level up that she didn't care who she stepped on? The person who is really hurting, though, is Brooke. She is absolutely devastated. We're hearing that she actually threw a jewelry display into a TV monitor, while Katie was standing right there. Can you imagine the rage you have to feel to start smashing electronics in a showroom? Brooke is convinced that Katie didn't just offer Hope a job. She thinks Katie stole her daughter. She's calling it the ultimate betrayal. And honestly, can you blame her? Hope didn't give her a heads up. She let her mom find out on a live stream with the rest of the world. Now, Hope is about to go on this big apology tour to try and fix things. But I want to know what you guys think. Is an apology enough when you've already set the house on fire? While all this partying is going on at Logan, Spencer is basically having a slow-motion meltdown. Bill swore him to secrecy about this whole launch. He told his son to keep his mouth shut and just keep smiling. But the timing couldn't be worse. Will is dating Electra Forrester. And get this, on the very night before the launch, Electra was being so sweet to him. She was massaging his back and telling him she was rooting for him, even though they were supposed to be rivals. Talk about a guilt trip, right? Will is sitting there with this massive secret that he knows is going to hurt her career, and he says nothing. The sources describe him as unraveling. He even went and stood in an outdoor shower just to try and decompress. When a soap character is standing under running water alone, you know they're in deep trouble. Is Bill Spencer being a good dad here? Or is he just a reckless boss? He's asking Will to do the same thing he's always asked Liam and Wyatt to do, put the Spencer agenda before everyone else. He thinks Electra is a professional who can handle it. But Will is a young guy. He doesn't have the thick skin his dad has yet. He knows that when Electra finds out he let her rub the tension out of his shoulders while he was actively lying to her, it's going to be a disaster. Would you stay with someone who did that to you? It feels like Bill is setting his own son up for a heartbreak just to win a business war. And then there's the diamond. Oh, the diamond. Bill thinks the hope for the future diamond is his ace in the hole. He got Wyatt to track it down so they could use it to gut punch the Forresters. He wants to humiliate them with a gem they made famous. But here's the crazy part. The diamond has a really dark history that Bill doesn't seem to know about. It used to belong to a man named Ricardo Montemayor. He died suddenly, and there were all these rumors about poisoning. Wyatt's mom, Quinn, was even investigated for it. She was so obsessed with getting the diamond for Wyatt that she might have crossed some major lines. So now Bill is parading this murderous diamond around like it's a trophy. But the funny thing is, Electra is obsessed with this stone. She's been studying it since before she was a jeweler. If she starts putting the pieces together about how the previous owner died, she could destroy the Logan brand before it even gets off the ground. Imagine the headlines. Logan Designs launches with blood diamond. The Forresters are already planning to use this history to shame the Spencers and taint the whole collection. Do you think Bill's ego is going to let him see this coming? He thinks he's sticking it to the dressmaker, but he might be handing Ridge the very weapon that ruins him. Speaking of the dressmaker, Bill just can't stop talking about him. He's dancing around, celebrating how they stuck it to Ridge. It's clearly personal for him. He doesn't just want to be successful. He wants Ridge to fail. And honestly, it's creating this toxic bubble around everyone at Logan. They're all applauding Hope again, but they're ignoring the fact that the Logan family is literally exploding. Brooke and Katie are in a full-on war now. Brooke told Katie that taking Hope is a wrong that can't be forgiven. She even brought up the time Katie stole Eric from her. This isn't just about fashion anymore. It's a decades-old sisterly feud that's been reignited.
The funny thing is how the rest of the family is reacting. Steffi is out here calling Hope a traitor. Eric is just sad, telling Brooke that Hope made the biggest mistake of her career. And then there's Donna. Poor Donna knew about the whole thing and didn't say a word. Brooke was so furious, she actually ordered her sister to leave the room. It's like the Logan sisters are being picked off one by one. Katie is standing her ground, though. She told Brooke that they already agreed to divide the families. Brooke gets the Forresters, and Katie gets the Spencers. But is it really that simple when kids are involved? Now, let's talk about Deke for a minute. A lot of fans were wondering who this guy was when he first showed up. It turns out he's Deacon's son, little Eric, all grown up. He's got this long, complicated history involving the Forresters and the Moores. He even stayed with his grandparents for years after his dad, Deacon, was raising him. Now he's back, he's an adult, and he's determined to be a designer. He actually wanted to work at Forrester, but he ended up at Logan instead. He's thanking Katie and Deacon for believing in him. It's a huge moment for him, but is he just another pawn in Bill's game to hurt the Forresters? The tension in Los Angeles is just through the roof right now. You have Logan competing directly with Forrester's jewelry division. You have Shauna Fulton leading the charge. And you have a whole new generation like RJ and Electra caught in the crossfire. RJ and Ridge are already worried about what's going to happen when Brooke and Hope finally have their big face-to-face confrontation. Can you imagine that conversation? Hey Mom, sorry I betrayed the family legacy, but did you see my new logo? It's going to be brutal. What do you think is going to happen next? Is Will going to crack and tell Electra the truth before the news cycle explodes? Or is he going to stay loyal to the Spencer name and watch his relationship go up in flames? And what about that diamond? Do you think the poisoning story is going to come back and haunt Hope? It's crazy to think that a beautiful piece of jewelry could be the thing that brings the whole empire down. I want to hear from you guys in the comments. Whose side are you on in the Logan sister war? Are you Team Brooke, or do you think Katie was right to give Hope a chance to shine on her own? And do you think Hope really earned this success, or did she just buy it with a betrayal? Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and like the video if you want more of these deep dives into all the drama. I'll be back with more spoilers and recaps soon, but until then, keep an eye on those diamonds. They might be more dangerous than they look. It really feels like the foundation of Logan was shaky even before the launch, doesn't it? You have all these people celebrating, but there are secrets everywhere. Bill is dancing, but his son is standing in a shower trying not to cry. Hope is proud, but she's already planning an apology tour because she knows she messed up. It's like they're all living in this fantasy world where they think they can hurt people and then just move on. But in the fashion world, especially in this town, the past always has a way of catching up with you. Think about Zend for a second. He's been working his tail off at Forrester, and he gets handed crumbs while Logan is over here ready to hand out the whole kingdom. Some people are even saying he should leave Forrester next. Can you imagine if the Forresters lose another designer to the Spencers? The math is simple, really. If you aren't being appreciated where you are, why stay? But if everyone leaves, what happens to the Forrester legacy? Eric is already gutted and feeling betrayed. It's like he's watching everything he built being torn down by the people he loves. And we haven't even talked about the influencers and socialites like Dottie and Joseph. They're sitting there in the audience, whispering about the scandal and wondering how it's going to go over at Forrester. They even said they felt sorry for Brooke. When the people you're trying to impress are actually pitying your family drama, you know you've got a problem. Joseph was even joking about how Brooke knows about the betrayal now. It's all a big game to them, but for the Logans and Forresters, it's their real life. Will Electra find out Will's secret before the news cycle? Is Will Spencer officially the new villain of Los Angeles, or is he just the latest casualty of his father's toxic legacy? Was that romantic declaration he made to Electra just a calculated lie, or is he truly cracking under the weight of a secret that's about to change everything? You really have to wonder, can a relationship actually survive when the foundation is built on a Spencer pact that was designed to destroy the very family the girl belongs to? Well, think about it. Today, we're peeling back the layers on the most high-stakes betrayal we've seen in years. We're looking at the exact moment Will Spencer chose his father's ego over the woman he supposedly loves. Let's set the stage here, because the psychological pressure in this room is enough to make anyone snap. We're on the eve of the massive Logan Designs launch. The air is thick with the kind of corporate warfare that usually leaves bodies in its wake. Bill Spencer, being the win-at-all-costs player he is, handed his son a secret so explosive it could level both Forrester and Logan in one go. He swore Will to absolute secrecy about the new jewelry line. Specifically, he's hiding the fact that they've poached Shauna Fulton and managed to secure the legendary hope for the future diamond. Now, the funny thing is, the timing of this isn't just business. It's a surgical strike. Bill didn't just want a successful fashion line. He wanted to gut-punch the Forresters using a gem they made famous. But the real thing we need to look at isn't about the diamond. It's about the parenting. Bill tells Will to keep smiling and keep his mouth shut. He's basically treating his son like a double agent. It's a classic move from the Bill Spencer playbook. He pulls his kids into his orbit and then acts surprised when the
collateral damage hits the people they love. But here's where it gets really messy. While Bill is busy celebrating his magnificent plan, Will is actually coming apart at the seams. He's sitting there with Electra Forrester. This is the woman he's dating. She works for the rival company, and she's being incredibly sweet to him. The sources tell us she was actually massaging his back and telling him she was rooting for him, even though they are on rival sides. Can you even imagine the guilt of sitting there? You feel her hands on your shoulders, and you know you're about to blindside her entire family tomorrow morning. How does that not break a person? My take? This is where Will separates himself from Liam and Wyatt. Liam would have spent 3 episodes hyperventilating. Wyatt would have made a joke to hide the pain. But Will? Will is unraveling in a way that feels much more permanent. He eventually goes and stands in an outdoor shower just to decompress. In soap opera language, that's a way of saying my soul is covered in grime. The water might wash off the sweat, but it's not doing anything for the lie. He's suffering from what you'd call a moral injury. He's being forced to violate his own internal values just to satisfy a father who thinks silence is a sign of strength. But did Electra find out before the news cycle? That was the big question everyone was asking. Did he break that night? Well, the answer is a resounding no. Despite the romantic declarations and the claims that nothing and nobody would come between them again, Will ultimately chose to stay quiet. He let her go to sleep thinking they were a team. Meanwhile, he knew the live stream was going to detonate her world in a matter of hours. This wasn't a mistake. It was a choice. It was a choice to put the Spencer agenda over the person standing right in front of him. The way things get worse is just brutal. When the live stream actually drops, the fallout is instantaneous. Electra is at the Forrester office, watching the show, and her reaction is pure shock. She sees the diamond. She sees Shauna. And she realizes that the boy who let her rub his back the night before knew every single detail and said absolutely nothing. She's shocked and horrified. And honestly, can you blame her? This isn't just about a jewelry line. It's about a total lack of honesty that basically kills the trust in their relationship. Let's look at why Will did this. He's a young adult who doesn't have much life experience. He's being groomed by a man who thinks business is a blood sport. Bill's take on the situation was that Electra is a professional who can handle competition. But Bill is totally missing the human element here. He's asking Will to deceive someone he has real feelings for. That's a setup for disaster, not a business lesson. Will is learning that to be a real Spencer, you have to be able to look at the person you love and lie right to their face. And then there's the diamond itself. This is where the story gets really dark. Bill thinks he's sticking it to the dressmaker by parading this gem around. But the hope for the future diamond has a murderous history that Bill doesn't even seem to know about. It's linked to the sudden death of Ricardo Montemayor. That was a death that involved poisoning and an investigation into Wyatt's mom, Quinn. Think about this. Bill is parading ill-gotten gains as if they are a trophy. And get this, Elektra is the one obsessed with the gems lore. She's been studying it since before she was a jeweler. So Will didn't just keep a business secret. He kept a secret about a cursed object that Elektra is uniquely qualified to investigate. When she puts the pieces together and realizes the diamond is tainted, she won't just be mad at Will. She'll have the weapon she needs to destroy his father's new empire. I honestly think Bill is the most reckless father in town right now. He's so focused on his rivalry with Ridge that he's blind to the fact that he's turning his youngest son into a shell of a person. He tells Will to keep smiling, but he's essentially handing him a bomb and telling him it's a gift. By the time the news cycle hits, the damage to Will's character is already done. He's no longer the sweet kid. He's a Spencer, and in this town that name is starting to mean betrayal. What's even crazier is how the rest of the family is acting. Brooke is literally smashing TV monitors because she feels like Katie stole her daughter. Steffi is calling Hope a traitor. The entire city is splitting into teams. Will is stuck on the side of the people who think lying is just a professional move. This isn't a family war anymore. It's a full-scale demolition of every bridge the Logans and Forresters have ever built. So what happens next? Here's my prediction. Elektra isn't going to just get over this. She's going to use her knowledge of the diamond's dark history to get back at the Spencers. She's already mentioned wanting to work with Quinn. We all know Quinn has no problem getting her hands dirty. Elektra is going to find the details of that poisoning investigation and leak them to the press. The magnificent Logan launch will be branded as a blood jewelry scandal. The consequences for Will are going to be devastating. He chose his father, but Bill's victory dance is going to be short-lived once the scandal breaks. Will is going to be left with a father who doesn't respect his conscience and a girlfriend who sees him
as a fraud. He stayed quiet to protect the secret, but in the end, the secret is exactly what's going to destroy everything he values. The funny thing about all of this is how Hope is begging for forgiveness, while Bill is yelping with excitement. It's a complete disconnect. Hope is feeling the weight of her decision, but Bill is just counting the orders pouring in. It shows the difference between the Logans and the Spencers. One family feels the guilt, while the other just feels the power. And Will is the one caught in the middle. He's standing in a shower, trying to wash off the scent of a lie that he knows he can't ever take back. Was it worth it? Was a single successful runway show worth the total collapse of his relationship with Elektra? Bill seems to think so, but he's not the one who had to look her in the eyes while she massaged his back. He's not the one who made a romantic declaration that he immediately ruined with his silence. Will Spencer just learned the hardest lesson of his life. In his father's house, loyalty is a one-way street, and the price is your own integrity. So, do you think Will Spencer is a traitor for wanting to be honest, or is he the only one with a conscience? If he tells Elektra the truth, is he protecting something real, or is he just being weak in his father's eyes? And what about Elektra? She's got her own ambitions and her own secrets. Do you think her spirits are going to be broken when she realizes the guy she's falling for has been lying to her this whole time? There are so many layers to this, and I can't wait to see how it all unfolds on the runway. Make sure you drop your theories in the comments. I read every single one of them, and I love seeing what you guys catch that I might have missed. Is there a new woman in RJ's life that Ridge should be worried about? And is Thomas going to have to wait forever before Brooke accepts him? There's always more to the story on the bold and the beautiful. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one where we'll talk about whether Hope's apology to her actually works or if she's just wasting her time. Stay bold, everybody.